find and fix these things on this tailgate is the first thing I gotta do to be able to get this tailgate in the car and get these drill bits to go through and then get them all lined up. And then I was looking for this crap all morning. This is everything that goes across the front of the car in the top over here. So if I finish painting those, then I'll be able to put them across. So that'll be part of the front that can be done. And then trying to get, these bolts here. I just ran to the store, got these nice bolts, so I just need to fit them. And but it's probably going to take a couple hours like everything. So we got to get this whipped into shape. We need to get this mounted in here. We got to get a tranny. We got to put this one back together first. So we're going to put it together, get a wiring harness all cleaned up, and it's going to be beautiful. Wires. It was pretty cool though. You get all this stuff. People are like, I'm afraid of this or whatever. Anyway, let's be serious though. We got like, a tach signal, ignition, speed sensor, brake switch to unlock the tranny, battery ignition, OBD2 port hookup, and check engine light. So you hook up a couple of things and you get all that information. I mean, if I looked at the dash that I built for this thing, I got like $700 in gauges alone. And all of it's in here, and you can hook it up with an OBD2 Bluetooth connector, and then, we have an intruder. And like a cheap $100 tablet for your... Okay. I was in the middle of making a video, Lou. Okay. She's like a little Chewbacca. But the cool thing is we, are you purring? Huh? Yeah. Good to see you, Lou. She must have just came out. The cool thing about this car is we do no longer have any small block Chevy old school parts. There's no more transmissions, no more motors. I was able to actually get the 1200 that I wanted for the motor and tranny. Even Lucy Lou loves that new ECU. Look at that. Yeah, huh, Lou? This one's going in the wagon. Yeah. Look at that GM ECU. It's going to be great, huh? What do you say? Yeah. That's right. Get that GM smell all over you. Just in case you rubbed up against a Ford person. Yeah. That's right, Lou. She doesn't even destroy the wires. She just wants to love on them. She's like, I love these wires. These wires are going to make Bear's car awesome. What do we got here? Vehicle information. 2003 Astro van. P59 ECM GM Gen 3, motherfucker. What's that, dude? That's my thingy. And this is the magic box. It's not very complicated. A couple of wires. You can build them on sloppy mechanics. Anyway, we have a bench harness box. Now I got a little 12-volt power supply with light on it. Lets me know it's on and working. And then this is an on-off switch like you'd key your car. Now I can tune in my underwear. Look at computers, or at least flash them.
Here we see the Bear holding his beloved turbo that he will never install in this project. At the time of the edit, it is being fitted into his 2003 GMC truck he calls Pumpkin Spice. This came after realizing that the tiny exhaust housing may be quite the limiting factor on that turbo for Instrumental the Wagon for Science.
Finally shortened all the wires so they're just made for this wagon. It's not that big of a deal. I don't think anybody would ever need to do all this. Yeah. And I probably can't make it look as good as I want to in my head anyway, which is a funny part, because when I got all done taping stuff up, I'm like, oh, that tape looks like shit. So I don't know. But all electrical is pretty much done. Right now we're just running the stuff from the computer side into the wagon side, the 65 side, and that's working pretty good. So now we're gonna have a OBD2 port and a check engine light and shit like that. Like, we're gonna wire it in. The check engine light, hopefully it'll just be like, oh fuck, and that's what it'll say. And then we got this guy here, bam. So these are really fun. Let me put this down here. So this is a aTCI something or other. Let me move that. You get back to drive. Bam, bam, bam. There you go. All right. The cool thing is if you push it slow, second, third, drive, right? Okay. Now, if I'm fixing to race somebody, you know what I'm saying? I got slam, 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 and it works. Like, you don't have to switch modes. I thought that was pretty cool. Not what I was seeking out, but just what I turned out getting. Bam. So we're good. We made sure it was pretty straight and square and shit, and then I done jacked the front up towards the back, like to give a little less angle here to this fucking rod or cable. It was it's very weird how shifters, I don't know, they're like, oh, we can teach a monkey how to put it in, but if you really want it to work right, you're probably gonna need to finesse some shit. which is fine. I just wish they would tell you. And the fuck thing about this fucking fast gate shifter is for the GM. It doesn't matter what the fuck it is. It says in the directions like 8 times, this will not work unless it's in the center position. It will not work unless it's in the center position. Well, guess what fucking position it's in? It ain't in the fucking center. It ain't even fucking close. And if you put one of these in your... You actually got to move this bracket to this side of the shifter. And in the directions, it says to put it on the other side of the shifter. All right? So then underneath the car... You know, and that's the first thing they tell you. Oh, you got to do that for a little extra travel for that 4L80. I was like, okay, all right, no biggie. And then I get here, and this is what it looks like in park. I'm like, I guess that's not too bad. But it ends up being in this fucking hole here because I did the math and shit, and I found out this is 2.2 inches of travel up top. So I'm trying to find the proper place for this radius to connect, and I drew it up on CAD and shit, and I'm like, just to check it out. And yeah, apparently you can use all of these holes. They're all the same distance from this thing in a radius, but that's the only one that works once you do all this weird shit where you're like, oh, the cord length is only 2.2 inches. You put it on one of these other ones, it's got to be like 2.5, 2.3. Yeah, it was a pain in the ass, and they were really no help. So I don't know, think about doing a video for YouTube. But yeah, I got that training harness all sorted out, and it's good. It's good. It's ready to plug in. I just have it hanging because I don't need to work on it anymore. And yeah, we're just gonna work on something else. I don't think that's a factory plug though. I think somebody punched a hole in this fucking pan, but I gotta find out. I'm pretty sure that's not factory.
How's it going? I don't know what this is for. I just know the sound it makes when I gap somebody in a...
I'm actually working on the car right now. Lucy Lou's over here. I put a little pad on top of the electrical box, but it's like I need the stuff out of the box. But she's just taking a nap, and she just laid down to hang out. She's trying so hard to nap. So I'll work on something else. I'm gonna let her nap for 20 minutes and get back to wiring this up. There's my buddy. She was hanging out in the seat a minute ago. And then her other buddy's over there. There's a cat. You can barely see the little guy right. I can't do this. Right there. Little yellow and orange. Or orange and white. We're just hanging out at the shop, working on the wagon. You're like, Bear, you aren't working on the wagon. You're sitting outside. I was like, it's nice. Let's go inside. Look at that. Look at hot rod ready to go. Another running Chevy small block. We can put these together in our sleep. And then we had to re-unfucculate this wiring over here. That's Toyota alternator. If you want to use Toyota alternator, that's what you got to do. Where those plugs are right there. Yeah. The wire coming out of that extra hole is for a alternator light to tell you if, yeah, some shit's wrong. Sends ground. You don't want to hook that up. But yeah, this hot rod, they did it in a couple days. Threw it together. Well, threw the engine tranny in. And there it is. Ready for action. And then we have a wagon. I was trying to figure out a nickname, you know. I was like, oh, I could call it like Brittany or something. And then I was like, well, maybe I could give it one of them silly names like back order. We're gonna get our hot wires going to the two seats, and I got to get some wires over to the park neutral switch, and that wiring's all done. We got like a couple of relays, fan speed like low, high, and this is for the engine. This is for the main harness, the painless harness. Got a 70 amp fuse. And this is a breaker for the fan because I don't have a fuse on it, so that just goes down to the big fat wires. Breaker for that, fuse for the cab, and then this shit for the engine. My transmission don't have a pan on it right now. It's repaired, but all we have is a naked tranny right now. If you like naked trannies, here's a view of her bottom. You like that shit? Yeah! All the wires are good. Look, none of them even really hang down. That's just the harness for the fucking tranny. Fucking O2 sensor right there. Look, we got to get to work. You ain't gonna build your car sitting on a couch at 10:20 at night. You got to be out in the garage. You got to get out there and get you a beer and put some tools in your hands and fucking move them around a little bit. I really had to modify the piss out of this damn TCI shifter. So we'll just unconnect it from the tranny so we can see how it operates, just how it was designed, you know. But watch. So I got a beep in park, right? And then I pulled it back, we're out. And then we're in neutral. Drive, obviously. You know, this is for overdrive. 1, 2, 3, drive, neutral, reverse, park. Okay, but you could see how much I had to do. If you look at this, I had to weld this piece on right here and grind it and shape it, and then grind this over here just to move it over. It's very weird. Let's take a look at the... So let me move these terminals here and put these in here and then reverse. So I had to bend the piss out of this thing, and then look at this thing. Look what I had to do to this. So there's park, reverse, and then neutral. So I mean, it works, but man, do you think you really gotta mess with something out of the box that's misaligned that much? I don't know what I got. If I got an imposter or what, but yeah. I mean, that's actual video of this. And this is without it hooked up to the transmission. So this is just how their shifter acts, like out of the box. Look at this, y'all. See that steering box? Okay, got that one there. We got this one over here. This original 65 Impala steering box. Right? Saginaw 800 style, I guess. This is Jeep Grand Cherokee 98. You can go, I think, from 92.5 or 93 to 98. Bolts right in, fast ratio, a little more feedback on the wheel. It means it takes a little more effort to turn it. It's not going to be a pinky turn car. But, and the coolest thing out, this pump, the fittings go right, the LS fittings, the late model fittings fit that steering box, so it's a direct bolt in with getting no lines made. So it bolted right in, hooked right up. Didn't have to make any lines. And then I had to buy a new rag joint because the diameter of this thing is like, I don't know. It's a little different. I can't remember if this is 11/16 and the other one's 3/4 or something, but you got to get it because of that. That's the old rag joint there. This was actually made out of 2 rag joints because it's a late model steering rag piece. I don't know, to fit that Tahoe steering column. So got the Tahoe tilt steering column. Now we got a Jeep Cherokee steering box. Fast ratio. It's the fast one that's in Corvettes, Camaros, Monte Carlo SS's. It's the good GM one right there. So it ought to have a good new car kind of feel. And then with this deal, we just cap this off and all the steering is all good. Oh, and I pulled the pitman arm of the old one and I just got to pull the pitman arm off the new one. It's like, still full on Jeep. It's pointed the wrong way. But yeah, there's the old pitman arm and I just bolt that on and hook it up. And then we were working on the wiring. I got a new connector that I was working on today, or a new loom holder, so it holds it flat. And that's how all the old school clips were, flat. So they go flat, flat, and then they go across, and it goes up and over, and all that kind of stuff. But it'll hold it nice and slim under the carpet. Yeah, should be good. Got the seat wiring in. Now I can pull seats back out, finish up this wiring. What I'm trying to do is get to the fuel pump, because I got to get the fuel pump to test the fuel system, check for leaks, etc. before I fire this thing up. So I'm trying to work my way on the wiring harness, kind of finalizing it as I go, and getting the back all hooked up. I've dragged these wires back and forth I don't know how many times, but I think this is it. We're gonna figure this out. And I think I just got to add some stereo wires on the other side. They go up underneath that thing. It's like a wire protector. Yeah. That's it. So, sometimes, yeah, pitman arm puller come apart. I mean, we're using all available positive methods to get this stuff off, but I think we're going to put some heat on it this time and try it again. But the fucking ear broke off. I mean, I had a 2-foot bar pulling as hard as my arm could pull. And I moved it a little bit, but this little guy couldn't take it anymore. So I don't pull a lot of pitman arms. I can tell when there's a whole shit ton of stress on something, though. And I was like, man, I hope these ears don't break. And then I was just sitting there for a minute. I go, oh, I'll put a little bit more on it. Bam! A little ear came off, but I think I welded it on pretty good. And I'm sure it's not as strong, but let's see what we can do. Finally, I had to fucking put some cuts in it. And I had to fix this damn thing. This is the 3rd fix on that. But the pitman arm finally coming off. It just popped, and then all of a sudden it started pulling. I was like, yes! A couple hours later, we just out in the shop. It's almost 9:30, but it's going good. It's going good. Tranny dipstick, all reworked, bolts right in. All right, we got a new list too. We got rid of that old list. Steering, tranny lines, tranny dipstick. I get to cross another one off tomorrow. Then we'll get to that fuel pump relay. We got a bunch of other crap on here. We're going to get it done, though. And tackle that tunnel. So, good day. Steering works. Wheels back on the front of the car. Steering box is in. Broke that pitman arm puller 3 times. That was pretty brutal. But now we should be able to fill it up with fluids. Get some spark plugs in here. And I just got to check the exhaust fit on this stuff down here. See how the exhaust goes by that. If it still fits by this The steering box is physically the same, but I just don't know about my tranny or my power steering lines. I might have to move them. No biggie. Yeah, this side's all clear. Just got to put in the tranny dipstick. Ready to go. Fixed a strip bolt on the oil pan of the transmission. And yeah, maybe I already showed it, but I just looped the tranny lines like that just so I could start it up. And then I got the wires going. Got them going all the way over there and then turning the corner, and then I gotta finish building the rest of it. I gotta print some more loom tomorrow, or the connectors. So it was a pretty productive day. I'm gonna start getting after them lines around the tranny pump. Okay, Lou. There's black metal, thrash metal, death metal, glam metal. Are you getting all this? Yeah. We're gonna be trying to clean up that thing, spraying it with some spray paint, and doing some work in there. Gonna try to cover that. It's all sealed up inside and outside. I'm gonna put the deadener over the top of it, and then paint where I did the cross member on the frame, the new mounts. That's the whole idea behind the original start of this car 3 years ago, was like, I just don't want to deal with shit rusting and corroding. So my plan was just to get all the rust off of the car that I could, you know, and then just seal it up so it doesn't deteriorate. Not make it perfect. It was just make the damn thing last. So that's what we did. And we're gonna do the floors later. So I just like Tiger seam sealed some panels in. You know, that shit ain't gonna rust. And it's sealed on both sides. And all I got is a little bit of patching around the back seat mounts right there and right there to deal with. But as far as it goes, I mean, the whole interior and the back can start to go in if I had it ready. And the front, you know, we could do carpet all the way to the back seat right now. So the seats are wired, you know, everything's there, the connectors. So they can be bolted in. The shifter's mounted and done. Got to drill a hole for it. So I could put a top on that. I could actually build the console if I want. Yeah, because that's just to cover up the transmission. Now we're going to build a console that incorporates everything all the way to the...